Alright, we should be live now. Apologies for the delay, the software crashed. I don't know what else is... Anyway. So while the computer's heating up like crazy because there's no air conditioner on. Oh, last week Wonder Guy asked to look at my custom characters and my designs, so let's have at it. So, first we'll start with Den Blüdsoul, or, as she's normally called, Denise Ame-san, which is where I get my game attack from. Ah, and there he is. Hello. Yeah, the last stream died because the software crashed. Like, I hit the stream button, and YouTube says stream finished, and everything just kind of broke, so what can you do? Now, first things first, let's change the music because I can't stand the default. Alright, so here's Den. Now, ever since SoulCalibur III, I always wanted to give her this kind of a... Well, I gave her the Iron Sword and Siegfried's style because I wanted to make her look tough. Because she always had kind of rough look about her. Well, I'm not very familiar with Tekken 7. I haven't played. The last one I played was 5. Well, technically I played Tekken Tag Tournament 2 for a little bit. Getting distracted here. Thanks. So this right here is a combination of her outfits from SoulCalibur 3, 4, and 5. Largely 5, but definitely elements of 3 in here, especially with the top. Because looking back at the game, she wore a bikini top, but she also had this long-sleeved tight vest thing that was just completely open in the front. But she still got the scarf that she had in 4 and 5. And she got the same pants and the same kind of... I forget what this kind of armor is called. With the dagger. I really miss SoulCalibur IV's look because in that game she wore the border suit. Which was a set of a two-piece set of long-sleeve tights that show off the midsection. But if you also wore the arm bandages, the sleeves would disappear. So it would create this cute sleeveless crop top. Yeah, Wonder Guy. I initially set the portraits to close-ups because, as you can tell, Denise has a beauty mark on her left cheek, and since that's a little hard to see in the middle of combat, I wanted to make sure people at least have some way of noticing it. And then I'm just kind of stuck with that all the way through. And yeah, she got that whole jet black sword to give her this kind of a edgy look to her. So she's kind of my edgelord, scrublord type of character. On her shoulders, she got the kanji for that one should be heart, and this one's soul. Whereas normally it would be blood and soul because of the name. She has her own name tattooed to her shoulders. And I want the scaled look for the sleeves to try to simulate her muscle definition. Yeah, 6.5 hours because I underestimated my own ability with Cervantes and Raphael. I mean, granted, I haven't played Raphael since the game came out, so I had to learn while I'm playing against the legendary opponents. If you hit any birds, it's outside because I've got an air conditioner in the room, so of course there's some gap around it. So yeah, the birds are tweeting. Oh, one thing I can do is if you to look very carefully, maybe you'd be able to see her vampire fangs. Well, she's not really opening her mouth up all that wide.
So you want to fight?
But we go down here to the demonic horns, and we bring these forward. There they are. And aside from that, there's really not much to her design. Just try to make her look like rather grim and solemn and tough. So she's got maxed out muscle definition. She practically has a 2-to-1 thigh to waist ratio. Like, she does not skip leg day. Now, you may also notice that I've got a lot of my custom characters set up in groups of 3, because when you select a character in combat, it arranges it in groups of 3. And my computer's fan is running like crazy, so I'm sure that's being picked up as well. So, if the computer overheats and crashes, I guess wait for that, yeah, because I got the air conditioner turned off and it's 90 degrees out. Okay. I'm professional. Now, here's a nice comic book inspired costume. Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. It was originally... I originally couldn't decide between either Captain Marvel or Power Girl, because they're both, you know, often depicted as with short blonde hair, tough bodies, large breasts, well, especially Power Girl. And of course, they're both total powerhouses. Hence why I picked a clockwork sword to try to represent, like, let's say, a piece of shrapnel that she would pick up and just swing around. And thanks to the whole clothing destruction feature, you can take off the midsection, and you got the old warbird look to her. And of course, then again, there's the tattoos on her shoulders. So this is a rather fun design, especially trying to put together the little belt buckle to try and cover up the knot. So I got a lot of comic book, manga, anime, and cartoon-inspired outfits, as well as video game-inspired outfits like Den's Kamikirimisu cosplay. So this one just seemed obvious because Siegfried has some of Nightmare's moves, obviously, and because Siegfried can fight with a giant club. There's also the fact that Kami has red hair and yellow eyes, and Den has yellow hair and red eyes. So it seemed kind of amusing to have a sort of a mix and match, like, alternate Kami look to her. So there's some parts like she's missing, like she doesn't have the scarf, and the OB bow is on the wrong side. But as I noted a few streams earlier, by manipulating the projection method, I was able to turn 3 handprint stickers into 6 to cover up the thigh highs. Next, we'll move on to Morgan Powys, my other vampire. Now, let's see if her fangs are a little bit more noticeable.
You look nice and tough.
Yeah, there they are. You can see them much more clearly with her.
You look nice and tough.
Granted, they are positioned a little further back than they really should be. Well, if I position them any further ahead, they just stick out of her mouth. But so at some angles, it doesn't quite work. Now, the thing about Morgan is that she's actually supposed to be missing her right eye, not her left. But this hairstyle is the closest to the one I used to draw for her. So that's why I'm hoping if there's ever a SoulCalibur VII that we have the option to mirror hairstyle so that I can have the bangs on the right side. But for the most part, this actually matches my old art style with her. And in fact, this outfit here is very much inspired by what she wore in SoulCalibur III. I just wish I had some footage of it. Now, back in 3, I primarily used the kickboxing style, the Grieve Edge. And then when SoulCalibur IV came around, I decided to give her Ivy style because I didn't know what else to give her. And she's just stuck with Ivy since then. And then I went back to SoulCalibur III, remade her as a pirate, which has Ivy style, so that actually works out. Because the whole pirate costume is just because, haha, Captain Morgan, get it? And so you can see I used the the bunny ears to create coattails. And the griffin is actually our family's crest, so the fact that we have it as a sticker is a very happy coincidence. On the other hand, while I like the kind of a pull-out pauldrons, the ones for 3 was much better. Like, I can't stand this clipping issue. And I really don't like these poofy sleeves anyway, but then again, without the poofy sleeves, they just hover in midair. So, you take what you get. Now, Morgan's gone through a number of different cartoon-inspired outfits. I previously had her dressed up as Black Widow. I originally had her dressed as Poison Ivy before switching to Ivy herself. And then, one day I'm reminded of Yoko Littner from Gurren Lagann, noting that she also has red hair and yellow eyes, just as Morgan does, so the opposite of Denise, but that's actually a coincidence. Her yellow eyes are actually based on the bully from A Christmas Story. So I thought, you know what, let me see if I can put together kind of a Yoko costume, using Voldo's face mask for the skull ornament. And all things considered, I think it came out fairly well. Oh, yeah, so yeah, I guess I should bring this up. Morgan's intended to have snakes coiling up her arms, and then they would coil down a sword that's along her spine. Neither of which really exist as stickers. In fact, I'm kind of surprised there's no snake or sword sticker of any kind. So I kind of had to make do with this. And I had to drop it in order to create that long sleeve look, but other than that, yeah, it's basically Yoko. Oop. Now, in the case of a video game inspired outfit, we of course have Flannery from Pokémon, who has one of the weirdest hairstyles in the series. And I have to admit, I spent way too much time just trying to make this look good. And then sometime later realizing if I want to give her a video game outfit, I should have just dressed her up as Blood Rain, because she's a redheaded vampire. But I think it turned out well enough. Like, I went with the bikini with Perio, but with the pants and the belt, they actually cut off the bikini bottoms and the Perio, so you just got the top left that she wears in the remakes. And recreating that belt and the little... I don't know what her belt design is meant to represent, but it was surprisingly easy to make. And of course with Ivy's sword here, you got a nice fiery design, so that actually works really well for her, being a fire trainer. Yeah, and just try to give her pants a kind of a blue jeans feel to it. Thanks. Yeah, and when it came to trying to create screenshots for her, fortunately Ivy's got a lot of unblockable attacks, so a lot of chances to set her on fire. Now, onto Quintessa. Now, Quintessa was originally created in SoulCalibur III, being fair-skinned with platinum blonde hair and violet-colored eyes. And when we started playing Dungeons & Dragons back in 3rd edition, the default setting was Greyhawk, which featured the Sulurese people, who are primarily fair-skinned, with blonde hair ranging from strawberry to platinum, with typically pale blue or violet eyes, and they descend from an ancient arcane empire. So the fact that Quintessa fitted so perfectly is quite the coincidence, especially since the Sul Imperium, their ancestral homeland, was known for being decadent and cruel, and Quintessa's personality throughout the series has often been decadent and cruel, because back in SoulCalibur III, your clothing determined your character's personality. Like, you could have 4 characters with the exact same voice, but with 4 different personalities to them. Now, due to a run-in with an artifact, Quintessa lost her color, so now she's got snow white hair and skin, and the blue eyes, the glowing blue eyes, are a result of her arcane sight. So to create this, I went with the malfested mutated race, because they have naturally glowing eyes. Yeah, that's right, it's the Arcane Sight spell. And back in SoulCalibur V, when the pure ring could naturally glow, I just shoved a pair of those into her face to create that effect. Now, the thing about the malfested mutated is that they also have markings all over their body. And as you can tell, they've largely disappeared. And I don't know if that's the result of a glitch or what you might call it. For example, if I set it to a nice light color, here they are. Got it on the legs, you got it on the shoulders, you got it on the breasts. But as you set it to a darker color, it doesn't really become dark so much as it just fades away. And when you combine that with her snow white skin, it's nearly invisible. It really only shows up under certain lighting conditions. See, if I set her skin to quote-unquote black, you know, it's a bit more noticeable now, isn't it? So I'm actually quite thankful that I can do this, because I really don't like those markings. So if I can make them disappear while still retaining the glowing eyes, and of course you got a little tattoo representing her, I guess you call her personal sigil, her arcane mark, the blue rose. And I try to set up her dress with gradients and stickers to be black on top and shifting to bright blue on the bottom. Now again, I noted some streams ago that the game has an opacity issue with stickers where the lighter the color, the more opaque they become. So this causes the sticker to be very blocky in certain spots. Like this actually looks so much better in SoulCalibur V on the last generation of hardware, or 2 generations ago. How does it look better on the Xbox 360? Not to mention the fact that in SoulCalibur V, the top portion of the dress could have its color changed, but now it's stuck with this whitish color, and I can't fix it. And when 6 was released, there was no spell scroll item, so I just took a pair of horns, added a calligraphy pattern, and the pure ring for a little band, and I made my own spell scrolls. I also applied the rainbow pattern to her necklace so that she had different colored gemstones, because otherwise, I'm always doing that. Yeah, otherwise you really only have one set of colors for the stones, and then I guess one color for the metal portion. But other than that, I'm happy with the design. Gives her a nice, elegant look. Oh, actually, you know what? I actually did have to use more stickers than I wanted to, because a portion of the inner sleeve actually clips through this outer sleeve. Let's see if I can show it off. Yeah, you can just barely see a little white speck right there, where the inner sleeve is clipping through the outer one. Isn't that fantastic? Oh, you know what? Let's set that front sticker to black. Okay, see, look. Black on white now. You can see the lines are much smoother than they were before. They're not as blocky. So yeah, again, that's an issue with this game. Now, because Quintessa is a villainous woman with supernatural powers, snow white hair and skin, and glowing eyes, I decided to dress her as Lady Death. Kind of the classic bad girl of the comic book scene back in the 90s, using Voldo's face mask to represent the skull motif. And of course, Ivy Valentine's outfit to you know, again, back when the game was released, it was the closest equivalent. Honestly, the Tiger Lily stockings could work as well, but then I'm stuck with the default bra because, of course, underwear is 1 slot instead of 2. And then I just applied a scaled pattern to the long palette gloves to have them match. And on the back, you have what my attempt at creating the logo for Chaos Comics, her original publisher, which again kind of makes use of that opacity issue with the black outline skull over the white silhouette skull. And yeah, baby got back. Ivy's outfit definitely flatters her figure. And now we move on to her Rayden cosplay. Now this is based on some photographs I saw of a model named Jennifer Van Damso who just decided to dress up as a sexy Rayden one day. And decided, what the heck, because Rayden's often depicted with white hair and blue eyes, and one of Aswell's attacks allows the character to just project their bodies forward. Not quite a full screen torpedo, but close enough. Yeah, you can always check back later, Gamesplay. Thank you. Now, I don't recall any kanji stickers to represent the deities, which I believe Rayden typically has. But last I looked into this, because I did help with some translating. Well, by that I mean I just applied the images. But my understanding is this does represent like either thunder or lightning, so close enough. And I tried to recreate an amulet to simulate Rayden's amulet or Shinnok's amulet or what have you. Of course, the issue is that this is kind of locked in place in conjunction with her like her collarbone or her sternum or her spine, not her breasts. So if her breasts like bounce upward, they're gonna overlap it. I wonder if I can actually force it? Well. Yeah, a little hard to tell, especially with having the fast motion. Actually, you know what? You did see a little bit of overlapping just there. Yeah, there it is. Ah, well. So that was kind of fun to make. I don't really use it all that often, though. I probably should. Alright, now we move on to Karen Akamu, my cutesy all-American devil girl next door. And while most people will depict their devils in lingerie or bikinis or battle armor, I dress her up as a cowgirl for two various obvious reasons. And yeah, this top not only does it remove the default bra, it also adds a bit of volume, as you can tell. But all things considered, I think it flatters her figure quite smashingly. Although again, with the whole texture issue, the whole opacity issue, that you can't really see any texture anymore with those stickers as you would have in the previous game. Yeah. Quintessa's outfit was based on Rayden, just based on a cosplayer's interpretation of it. Now, she's one of the few characters who still has a battle damage effect, so if you remove the outfit, I put together a little American flag bikini. Which, again, a lot of the bikinis in this game, you apply like maybe 1 or 2 colors, but they apply to the top and bottom equally. So I had to apply stickers on the top to cover up the native red and white stripes, and then add white star stickers on top of that. And I made this outfit before the cowboy hat was released, so I had to put it together using the Tyrolean hat and a pair of maid's hats, the white brim. And even with the cowboy hat, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to keep it. That's also why she's wearing Seong Mi-na's boots instead of the Western boots, because back then, that's all we really had. Now, Karen's also got a human form to her, and in the last game, a lot of people got her ethnicity wrong. So being that she's meant to be Hawaiian, I decided to just go the pure stereotype route and just dress her up as a hula girl. And this design is largely based on an illustration of Psylocke from the X-Men, from one of the old Marvel swimsuit issues, because that was largely an inspiration for a number of characters I drew prior to Karen, so like my proto-Karens. So I thought I'd just go full circle. I'll bet she got the flowers on the left side of her head instead of the right. But I also put together the dagger that Psylocke was wearing on her thigh. So the only other major difference was that Psylocke wasn't wearing a grass skirt, just a tiger stripe pattern. We take that off. And yeah, so it's just very simple design. Oh, I might as well bring it up. Her skin color is literally 666. I popped that in just out of curiosity, and I was pleasantly surprised to see it gave her this nice caramel colored tan. So I couldn't have asked for more. And yeah, I tried to apply a kind of striped pattern to the hilt to try to simulate the sticker or the zipper straps on her thighs. And for another Mortal Kombat costume, because Karen's got brown skin, black hair, green eyes, and she fights with a staff, I suppose I should mention that I gave her Keelix style just because of the trident, the closest thing they had to pitchfork. Yeah, so I dressed up as Jade from Mortal Kombat. Kind of like an amalgam of her various costumes, like Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Mortal Kombat 9, Mortal Kombat Deception. I really liked applying Hilda's face mask over the thief's mask. Hilda's crown over the thief's mask. Because I just thought it fit like remarkably well and made it a little extra fancy. And yeah, I just again made use of the projection method to create multiple uses of the same stickers to decorate the gloves and the thigh highs. And you got Seong Mi-na's loincloth. But here's the issue. Seong Mi-na's a skinny girl and Karen's thick. So her ass is literally clipping through the outfit. What am I doing? Thank you. Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, because I was editing game footage one day and I was like, what is that? Why are there brown patches? Yeah, I quickly realized. Yeah, David. Yeah, she got a fat ass on her. Oh, and the little medallion at the top there, that's actually that little feathered winged medallion. So it was a kind of a pain to try and position that in such a way that the feathers don't show at all. So I think that came out well enough. And of course we take that off. And we got some nice green lipstick. And next we'll move on to her bratty counterpart, Ariel Le'ammas. And so while Karen is tall and thick, Ariel's short and petite. And so I was able to create this cross look by taking the Tori sticker, the Temple Gate sticker, all up angling it a particular way, and then just applying some white square stickers to cover up what I didn't need. Unfortunately, you cannot change the color of the sticker. You're stuck at red. Otherwise, I would have gone with a nice dark gold color. And so here you got the chiton, the toga, but by applying the Warlord's belt, it kind of cinches it up a bit, makes it a little bit tighter, a little more exposed here and there, and then just replace the default long skirt with the mini skirt. So instead of having a long baggy outfit, she got a short tight one. And the funny thing is, the angel race can wear the chiton, but a human character with the feathered wings cannot. For some reason, in their situation, it's not compatible. But here it is. Like, it's literally the same wings. Yeah, I remember some people actually thought she was with the Kid Icarus's little sister or something, because of the overall look, and because especially with these strap boots. And yeah, I gave her Zasamel style because back in SoulCalibur III, I made her the Saint class, and I thought I gave her kind of an Angel of Death look. And of course, you got kind of a cross of sorts within the weapon. And I added the wheel to the halo to try to give a more old-fashioned medieval look. We had those hyper-detailed halos that weren't just a gold ring. Now here's a costume idea that I'm surprised I didn't come up with years ago. I have her dressed up as the Little Mermaid, because after all, her name's Ariel, right? And of course you've got Sebastian right there on the bottom, using Emil's mask, the turtle shell, and the flame ornaments. And so the idea was that if she takes battle damage, you eventually get the kind of a pseudo mermaid look. Like she got the top, there's meant to be seashells, and sort of legs bursting out of the mermaid tail. It's kind of gruesome, but it made sense to me at the time. So something interesting to have her break off. And I like to start the end of this at this site. Of course, it's all bloodstained. So it's a rather simple design. Yeah, actually, it's not even that simple, because trying to get like the thigh highs with a certain style of dress, there's a lot of parts in this game that are not compatible with each other. It's really kind of ridiculous. Now, for a while, her video game outfit was inspired by Dawn from Pokemon Platinum. I did that in SoulCalibur V. I got some old videos of her in 6. But then, one day I decided, you know what? I'm a fan of the King of Fighters, and Ariel's short with long light blue hair by default, and she can freeze time. I'll dress her up as Kula Diamond. Why not? And again, kind of going the whole classic Kula, because I really don't like her new outfit. But in order to cut off certain portions of the outfit, I had to give her a second belt. So I'm pretending it's K-Dash's belt. And I like this side because it kind of looks like there's icicles hanging off of it. It's a little hard to see, but you got the heart and the snowflake logo. I thought that came out really well. And I noticed that in one of these spin-off games, oh, I forget the title of it now, but it was like you play as only girls. I think there's like a female terrier in that version. So one of Kula's outfits was based on Angel's outfit, and so I styled her underwear after that. So again, one of the few characters who actually has stuff that can break off. Now we move on to some, thank you, yes, SNK heroines, that's what it was. So now we move on to onto some bonus 4th costumes. So I've always depicted Denise in a kind of Chappelle or Chance. I can't pronounce Chinese at all. I apologize. But I always like the kind of style of dress because it always just seemed very classy and very demure. Because yeah, again, she's always been kind of a tough girl. Like Denise is like a broad. Like she can appear classy, but she can also deck you in the face. But I've in the past I always made them like bright colors, like sky blue or like magenta or just pale pink or anything. And then I decided, you know what, since she's meant to be a vampire, since I wanted to give her something gothy of sorts, how about something a bit darker? So I went like a dark, like bluish indigo with a star pattern, and I used this the fancy painting of Mount Fuji, which again you got the opacity issue with the sky there. It just doesn't really blend in very well, so it's kind of a foggy Mount Fuji, I guess. And I used like a pale yellow circle in the back to represent the moon, and I just threw on the kanji pattern for the belt. And she's got katana, so it's a mixture of Japanese and Chinese, and I'm sure I'm offending somebody with its very existence, but I don't care. This is about like the only girlish outfit that Denise has, really. Very stylish makeup, a bit paler skin than usual. And I tried to apply the this kind of pattern to give her like lacy thigh high, which doesn't really fit in the middle seam here. It doesn't match up, but it's close enough. With those monstrous thighs of hers. And similarly with Morgan, I want to give her something a bit modern, just give her some street clothes. Like I would prefer like a crop top t-shirt or tank top, but the tube top will do well enough. And again, it kind of was like a bloodstained blade. Kind of with a blue jeans look. And she got her family crest on the back of her gloves, which is initially a pain in the butt to set up because you can't really normally see it when you first apply the sticker, but I thought it turned out well enough. Yeah, actually I was watching a Street Fighter 2 live stream earlier, or as a premiere, and they didn't even have the hyphen in her name, so... Oh yeah, she had a little, an attempt at a little belly ring. Except I think midsection equipment is aligned more with the middle of her body, not really the lower portion. No, because I know that if she stretches her body around at certain points, it doesn't really line up. Yeah. You can kind of tell it's a little misaligned here and there, but... And yeah, I kind of forgot to mention that with as with Karen's cowgirl outfit, I used some zipper stickers to create a pseudo belt, because this was before the leather belt came out. And I used the Voldo's fake chin accessory, the back of it, to create a belt buckle. And the purple lenses are inspired by an artist I once knew on a website years and years ago, named Vegeta Worshipper. And I don't know what she's up to now, but you know, she was definitely a feisty one, and I do remember that. So yeah, the purple sunglasses are actually a reference to her. Now, Quintessa's gone through a number of fourth costumes. Previously, I had her dressed as a Playboy bunny, because back in SoulCalibur V, when she had only one costume and everyone else had two, and I had my custom characters in order. No, that was his own message board. That was the Anime Cafe. I don't think that's it's around anymore. I think the site's partially around, but I know the forum's dead last I checked. Yeah, she had some webcomics up on the Drunk Duck, or I think it's just called the Duck now. Where was it? Yeah. Back in SoulCalibur 4 and 5, all my custom characters were arranged in a certain order. But in 5, Quintessa did not have a second outfit. It was just a blank space, so I initially made her a Playboy bunny, just for the heck of it. Now, being that Quintessa is a Dungeons & Dragons character, and that she's pure-blooded Suloese, I decided I would dress her up as a member of the Scarlet Brotherhood, a nation of pure-blooded Suloese who seek to maintain the purity and supposed supremacy of the Suloese people, which is rather appropriate for a character who's an out-and-out villain, vain, conceited, selfish, self-centered, egotistical, and chaotic evil. And on her breast she has a medallion representing Weejas, the Suloese goddess of magic, law, vanity, and death. Now, this was a combination of the prayer pants and the... what was it called? I forgot the name. The Oirin kimono. Yes. So again, the oops. I pressed back too many times. So yeah, the prayer pants cut off the bottom portion of the kimono so that all you had was this open top, because the Scarlet Brotherhood is dominated by monks, and so of course they traditionally wear, you know, martial arts gis. But being that Quintessa's vain and of course obviously beautiful, so you know she'd probably be the type who would show off a bit, you know, open it up a bit. Now of course one issue is that there's a bit of clipping going on. As you can tell, the very top portion of the prayer pants bleeds through the white band. But for a little while I had the band completely red, but then that just seemed boring. So I thought, you know what, if it's gonna clip, it's gonna clip. Screw it. I actually really like how the pattern turned out. I think I did something similar with another character, and you get it's a little hard to tell, but she also got bracelets on. And it is kind of amusing that these pants are baggy around the legs, but really tight around her ass. And it's a little hard to see, but right along her back, she has a tattoo representing the symbol of the Scarlet Brotherhood, which is a plus sign, but each leg of the plus, or each arm, is a little wiggly. And considering how I described the Brotherhood and the Sulis, you can probably guess what the logo is inspired by, but I'll just leave it at that. Now, Karen's fourth costume is something I got from Reddit. She's dressed as a Hooters girl. Again, for obvious reasons. And yeah, the outfit just really shows off her curves. Now, because some parts have different palettes, like some are missing the orange palette because they don't want it to represent skin tones, instead of like going with orange pants, I had to go with like a hot pink. But sometimes it looks orange. And I don't know if it's because of her skin, or if it's because of the wings, like how light reflecting off of it. So yeah, it's like hot pink and hot orange at the same time. But otherwise, yeah, I got the idea from Reddit. It just seemed cute and appropriate for her. I mean, you know, who's better to serve hot wings, right? Actually, that reminds me, because when I was in high school 20 plus years ago, we had like an assignment to create our own restaurant, or at least this kind of step-by-step process. And because I used to draw, I was tasked with drawing the uniform. Of course, I went with like a mini skirt instead of short shorts, which some of the girls in my group didn't like, and some of them did. So, and the character I used to model was Karen, or at least a pre-Karen. Now, Ariel here is dressed as a YouTuber named the Prim Reaper, part of the Honey Badger Brigade. Because I follow them, I follow her, and because of course the Prim Reaper is of course based on the Grim Reaper, so she has a scythe. This will just seem like a fun little costume to me. We got the whole spooky eyes out of the shadowy look, more or less. Kind of like the Weavers from Loom. And you got the bow tie with the bell. And I know badges don't have like giant cat ears, but the cat sticker was the closest. Well, I think the cat sticker was the one that matched the most. And of course, it's got its own little bell. And then I just applied some shape stickers on top to represent the big black nose and the white forehead stripe. And while her equipment cannot be destroyed in combat, I often see Prim on camera with her hair in a ponytail, so I try to go with that look. Yeah, I think it was like Cassandra's outfit. So here's a character I've never really shown on my channel, my Lizard Gent, because you can make your own lizard man. And so I thought, why not make one with Sophia style, who's all prim and proper. And I even put together his own top hat and monocle. Problem is, yeah, with the lizard folk, there's not a whole lot of parts that's really that really fits, and so I've never really done much with him. And I know a little bit of Sophidia, and I can always study. Oh God, he's starting to make my mind blank. High Caliber Gaming, I believe the channel's called. I'm sorry if it took that long, or if I just messed it up. Because he's a top Sophidia player, so if I wanted to study her style, I'd follow him. I mean, I've been meaning to work more with him, but I don't know. I'm already playing like a dozen different characters as it is. And now we got a Dynasty Warriors character, Xiù Měi. Or in this case, just Mei, because the XIU letter combination is banned on Xbox Live. It's censored. I don't know why. But yeah, she was a member of the non-Mon people in Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires. So I just went with all the tribal equipment and Sophidia's stone tip spear. And I really don't play as her all that often anymore because she's so much shorter than Seong Mi-na. My mistake. Yeah. She's so much shorter than Seong Mi-na, so she does so much more damage, and I actually kind of feel like I'm cheating. Like, when she's got combos, I can just easily take off half your life. It's kind of ridiculous. And I tried to recreate the tattoos on her arms and then one that's on her cheek. Because, yeah, Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires lets you create your own characters, but character creation was so limited. I think you had like 3 different faces for men and women each. And like 3 different voices. There really wasn't much to go with. Or maybe it might have been... Yeah, actually, yeah, I think it was like just like 3 voices. And then I decided to give her a second costume, which again was street clothes of sorts. Something modern, so I just went with the overalls, pink, with a white t-shirt with a bunny sticker on it. And she got little flower stickers on the back of her on the back of her pockets. The sneakers, yeah, just a very simple design. It's very cute. So I think like Denise, I think she's the only one with a maxed out muscle definition. Because she's meant to be kind of like an Amazon, but she's a very short, petite Amazon. And speaking of Dynasty Warriors, we have my Nightmare character, Aji Dahāka. Except I don't really play as Nightmare anymore, so while I played as him in SoulCalibur 4 and 5, I largely haven't done anything with him in 6. Hence the very, very lazy black armor. At some point I had to re-edit this guy, because back in 5 I had a shirtless version with snakes coming out of his shoulders based on the Aji Dahāka from Persian myth, or Zahak the Arabian, a man who was cursed, who had snakes growing out of his shoulders that fed on human brains, and this in turn was in reference to a previous 3-headed dragon myth. Which is also why I kind of gave him Yoshimitsu's pauldrons, because they got heads on them. Same with the armor. In fact, in Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires, the demon armor had a kind of like a demon head helmet with dragon head pauldrons. And initially I just picked it just because I thought it looked cool, but I'm like, well, there's your 3-headed dragon. But other than that, yeah, he's an unfinished character, so at least in this game. Although again, I kind of went with the whole gradient look for the cape, which I think was, I think in Dynasty Warriors 6 Empires, if you chose black armor, you got like a black to red cape, and this was based on. But yeah, Dahāka needs a lot of work. Now we move on to another Dungeons and Dragons character from the Forgotten Realms, the Dark Elf Variolus of House Baenre. Now this look here is actually based on a figurine that I painted. So for all things, I'm actually happy it turned out as well as it did. Although I had to use the turtle shells for the leg armor. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, again, you got the whole bikini with the saran wrap, or perio wrap, I should say. Yeah, you got these snake ornament bracers. Because the figurine had one set for one arm, and then she had a different bracelet for the other arm, but this looked good enough. and the figurine was depicted with a very long, thin, curved sword. I don't know anything about any essence of shadow stuff. She's just from the Underdark. She's from Menzoberranzan. So a blackguard of Lolth, the demon queen of spiders. So yeah, the figurine was depicted with what you could consider to be a katana or quote-unquote elven curved blade. So I gave her Mitsurugi style. And she's very much the serious, no-nonsense type. So I think it works out. I don't know. Like I say, it works out well because Mitsurugi really ain't all that serious. He's kind of a knucklehead. Now, when I first created Variolus in 6, I didn't have really anything planned for her outfit, so I went with the Arcane Knight costume. And she still kind of has it. And I mean, Dark Elves, especially Dark Elf women, aren't known for wearing a whole lot anyway, so it is somewhat appropriate. And the whole black and gold look is kind of cheesy, but I think it works. Well, I've played enough Forgotten Realms adventures, but I'm more of a Greyhawk grognard, so I'm not as familiar. So yeah, just something to show off her body. In her case, I wanted to go with a rather slim upper body, but with a much more curvier lower body, something like pear-shaped. So I wanted something that resembled, spiders, right? Like very slender arms, but with a very big backside. So that's why she had the small bust, but the big ass and wide hips. Now, while I primarily use Aswell's style with Quintessa, I had noted a while back that Aswell's aura is half red and half blue when he performs a soul charge. And of course, you've got you've got Keelik's malfested soul charge hairstyle available. So I thought, hey, can I recreate Gil from the Street Fighter series? Which, of course, the hard part being, how do you make your skin half red and half blue? And yeah, it turns out with stickers, that's fully possible. And there we are. He got red aura on his red side, blue aura on his blue side. And you got the hair, and yeah, I mean, he doesn't have any fire or ice powers, but it's basically Gil. I mean, there's not much more to say about it, really. He's got the briefs. He's got the little gemstone on his forehead. Some slightly glowing eyes with an echoey voice.
Why do you choose to fight?
Oh, you know what? I guess I might as well bring it up now. Maybe this is because I play on the Xbox One S model, which is the weaker than the X. But I've noticed in the past that if you modify vocal pitch sub or vocal tone, this creates an unnatural echo that the game can't really handle. And it actually kind of lags up the game even offline. Because I would notice, like, even in training mode, like if I had Quintessa versus Quintessa, the attacks would come out much more slower than normal. And I don't just mean Aswell's stick with how attacks go faster if you're in a certain mode. No, the attack will legitimately come out slower. Same thing with Ariel, because I had vocal tone modified with them. And finally I decided, I'm going to just set it to 0, see what happens. Because in his case, he had vocal pitch sub. And it accepts like 1 or 2 or something. Yeah, I set them all back to 0. Everything cleared up, everything was much smoother. So it seems like only vocal speed pitch and malfestation works correctly. You'll still get normal gameplay, but if you modify tone or pitch sub, things can slow down. It's especially a problem with online. So if you experience really weird lag against someone's custom character, it's probably because of that. So I might as well just mention that. Oh, and another weird glitch is that for some reason with male character models, there's like a patch of skin that's on opposite thighs. So you got the red and the blue and the red. And I even tried this with the default characters like Maxie. They had the same issue. But I have not seen this show up with women. So I don't know if it's just because the character model is rendered weird or what. And it didn't matter how thick they were or how muscled they were. So that's just something I have to deal with. And now we've got one of my more recent Dungeons & Dragons character for the world of Greyhawk, Korinthe Brauerin. Another tall, thick girl. So of course I gave her Cassandra style. You know, that and because Cassandra's got elemental powers, and Korinthe worships winter, goddess of west wind, autumn, harvest, and beer, hence the dirndl dress. And because Korinthe fights with a club that she can naturally enchant, thanks to some druid spells she learned, and Cassandra fights with the has a rolling pin. Rolling pin as a weapon. Thank you. It would be nice if you could mix and match weapons and shields, but who knows. But other than that, yeah, it's just Korinthe in her dirndl dress. And again, this is largely based on the figurine that I painted. And again, as with Variolus, I was a bit lazy. So here she is wearing the Holy Knight bikini armor. Because of course. For a number of reasons. Now, my understanding is that this originated in one of the mobile games. And it's a little bit skimpier in that version, but here they made it they added some panties to it. But they didn't add any texture to them. It's just like a panty-shaped sensor bar. And so I just applied a gradient pattern to it to try and match up her skin tone, which again, there's no shades of orange allowed, so I just go with yellow. But when she's bouncing around like that, and especially with most lighting conditions, it's a little hard to tell she's wearing them. So yeah, there's no hiding. I'm being an absolute pervert with this outfit. And yep, for the last of the custom characters, we go with the Doctor of Science, Dr. Insano, from the now defunct spooning experiments. I mean, Noah is still live streaming on his channel, but yeah, the experiment's over. Other than that, now I initially got this idea back in SoulCalibur V, when again back when Noah was still uploading, and I gave him Jin Kazama's fighting style, mainly just because he could fly and Dr. Insano had rocket boots, and he had that lightning punch whose name escapes me at the moment. So I thought, okay, I also know that Dr. Insano owns Nintendo's Power Glove, so I kind of imagined that he was refurbished it to create lightning punches. So instead of having supernatural powers, he was fighting with science. Now, of course, in SoulCalibur VI, Jin's style is no longer available, but now we've got 2B from Nier Automata. Again, she's an android. So once more, you got the whole fighting with science aspect. It's a shame I can't make the pod look like Burton, though. And, you know, the goggles are kind of missing the spiral design, but you kind of have to make do with what you have. I tried to sort of simulate Insano's name above the pocket, but again, it's kind of blurry. But other than that, yeah, if I don't feel like playing this 2B herself, I've got Dr. Insano. Alright, so let's move on to the main characters. because over the past year, I've actually been playing as them more than my own customs. So to start off with, let's just work out from the bottom to the top, because I got main characters, I got custom characters on top, main on the bottom. And I know a lot of people prefer the old method of having main edits with the main characters themselves on the character select screen, but I really do like having them all grouped together, so I can like much more easily move from like Talon to Amy or to Nightmare or 2B. But to start off, we've got Inferno. Now the game allows you to take a character portrait and then apply it to your own profile. And so as with SoulCalibur V, I decided to take the blue surcoat, I think it's called, which I applied a kanji for heaven, and then I just use that as a profile. But you cannot play Inferno online, so even if I were to do random select, there's no chance of me ever getting this monstrosity, because yeah, you got the surcoat and you got the cat ears, and that's basically it. Like it's not really meant to be played. It just exists for my profile. Now on the other hand, you do have two versions of Inferno that are a bit more serious. In Libra of Soul, if you master 20 fighting styles and then defeat the corresponding boss characters, the Ancients, you'll unlock a fight against Inferno at level 99 with beefed up stats and like permanent soul charge, and he can do a critical edge whenever he wants. And he's dressed up as Nightmare on top of all that. Now, there's an interesting glitch in that if you like normally, if you do enough high damage to knock off the helmet, you see his head. But in Libra of Soul, if you deal enough damage to knock off the head, his head disappears. So you can actually, like, in fact, I've got an old video where I'm fighting against the Nightmare Inferno, and I knock off the high equipment, and he's just headless for the rest of the battle. And they never fixed it. So yeah, you can tell that'd be like a legitimate fight then. You can't change the weapon though. He's stuck with Soul Edge, because he is Soul Edge. But other than that, yeah, it's just the blue Inferno dressed as Nightmare, and then I tried to replicate the colors as best I could. So for like the Siegfried armor, if you want Nightmare colors, I would suggest 638.3. I think I deciphered this using screenshots and an image editing program using the color dropper tool. This seemed like the closest equivalent to the default Nightmare color. Which, you know, again, all you have is default color. The game doesn't tell you what the color is. But then again, there are some parts with colors not even found in the palette, so I don't know. And then we've got Nightmare. We have Inferno wearing Nightmare's armor, Player 2 armor from SoulCalibur IV. Because back then, Nightmare was, again, his own entity, kind of this animated suit of armor that was falling apart. So it's more like Nightmare dressed as Inferno, I guess, and now it's Inferno dressed as Nightmare dressed as Inferno. Yeah, that armor was really weird. Like, it doesn't really work for a human Nightmare, but then I noticed, oh hey, Inferno can wear it just fine. And it actually, you know, kind of fits in with his bony skeletal look, with the red flames for this one. And yeah, so Inferno's like the only custom I have with a completely different style of portrait, because as you can see, they all got the same outer frame, but not there. You got reddish flames and I think it's space. I don't know. So now we'll go on to the edits I do use online with my current quote-unquote favorite. And I've shown this off before. Talon dressed as Starfire from the Teen Titans. And so of course to get this to work, I use a combination of makeup and stickers to turn her skin orange, and a pair of Purines to give her green eyes. Now I do wish that the version in this game had a glowing version, as it did in SoulCalibur V. But at least the metallic sheen doesn't really show up quite so much here, but it's still kind of weird. And yeah, the outfit's a little bit provocative, but then again, so is Starfire in the comics. So she wasn't all that innocent as she was in the cartoon. And of course, similarly, we've got Amy dressed as a Raven. Which, you know, considering her dour attitude, I mean, of course I am. And of course, again, same thing. I used makeup and stickers to change her skin tone. I mean, you can't really do gray because of how the opacity and the saturation works. So I kind of went with like a light lavenderish color, and you can just barely see her scar there. So yeah, this one is much more based on the animated series. I couldn't really do the full belt because you're limited to how much accessories you can have. And I like this particular sword. I thought it looked nice and spooky. And she got like a little bird sticker. I think it's supposed to be a phoenix, but I thought that was the closest enough. And I went with the scaled suit because, again, it was the closest thing the game had. And I just tried to muffle it using the scaled pattern. Now here's one of my dumber costumes. It's 2B dressed as a bee. That's literally it. Now this was based on an outfit I had given Quintessa back in SoulCalibur V. And I don't even remember why. I just wanted, I got this piece just because she had a big ass. So I thought, you know, Bumblebee or something like that. I was just dressed her as a bee. And she had Viola style in that game, so I was able to style one of her crystal balls to look like a blob of honey. So I thought, you know, hey, with 2B's name, I'll just repurpose it for her. Because why not? Yeah. You know, for a time I was actually against giving her anything but her default outfits because her particular proportions aren't tied to her, they're tied to her clothes. So like if you were to dress up like Ivy in 2B's dress, Ivy's body will reshape itself to match 2B proportions. And of course you give 2B regular clothes, quote unquote, her body reshapes itself to look like a default custom character. But I decided, let's go, I'll just live with it. And now we've got another kind of silly costume. Another one that's inspired by comic books. This time it's Talon dressed as Storm from the X-Men. Now, again, while I used makeup for the previous look, and in this case I did have to use a full set of stickers to cover her whole head. Because the issue with the whole makeup is that the makeup only covers the face and leaves the rest of the head bald. But with most hairstyles, it's not an issue. See, the whole thing was, I was listening to a podcast, and they brought the whole concept of the term Latinx, and somebody asked, does the X mean that they're X-Men? Are they mutants? What? And I thought, well, Talon's from the Philippines, would she be Filipinx? And then those two thoughts just kind of merged in my head, and I thought, you know what, she's got wind powers. I'm going to dress her as Storm. No, wait, I'm going to dress her as a punk rock Storm with a mohawk. Because I can. And again, it's kind of like a lazy design. I basically just applied the leather pattern to everything. And I got the nice big red X on the back. And that's all to it. And these particular Talon tonfas was actually left over from a previous costume where I had Talon dressed as a cat girl wearing lingerie. And I do have some videos of that up online, so I decided, you know, I'm just going to keep these. And yeah, again, she's got a pair of pure rings over her eyes, and you can much more clearly see the metallic sheen to them. Yeah, it does look. Yeah, again, I would have preferred if they glowed, but oh well. And yeah, the whole lines all over the face and the body. I mentioned that in the previous streams. You can't really do anything about that. And I don't remember that being an issue in SoulCalibur V. Like a lot of stickers have like this very faint outline to them. You can't get rid of it. It's really weird. Now, back in SoulCalibur IV, and for a time in SoulCalibur VI, I had Amy dressed as a kind of generic Catholic-ish schoolgirl. But I'm also a big fan of the series Rosario Vampire, which features in its second season a character named Coco Shuzen, who, like Amy, is short, petite, young, has reddish, orangish hair, and has these big, poofy pigtails. So I thought you would let me remodel her schoolgirl outfit to look like Coco. And so, of course, she has a pair of demonic horns shoved into her mouth to give her the vampire fangs. And she got the little bow ties on top. The school uniform, she got the little cross emblem on the top of her shirt and technically on the bottom. It's a little provocative. And I think technically the skirt's meant to be yellow, but sometimes it looks green. I don't know. And you say the rapier is her friend Batty in rapier mode. So it's Amy as Coco. Now this is a rather recent addition. Again, I do kind of want to get into Nightmare, because his moveset's changed a bit since 4 and 5, so I wasn't quite used to it, and so I just didn't really bother relearning him. But then again, I took the time to learn Amy and Talon and Cassandra and 2B. So I thought, you know what, since I can, and since he is, I'll just dress up Nightmare in Siegfried's armor. So a kind of a pre-Nightmare Nightmare. Like Siegfried just after reclaiming Soul Edge. So I guess I should probably give it shorter here. But that's it. I know I'm not the first person to do this. It's just Nightmare dressed as Siegfried. It's a Siegfried dressed as Siegfried. And no mutant arm. Well, not really. Well, it's kind of there. I think it's actually the first time I noticed that Siegfried technically has bare shoulders with his. Now we go on to another Talon outfit. Dressed as Dora the Explorer, because, again, why not? SoulCalibur 2? I mean, I know Siegfried was playable in SoulCalibur 2, because I think that was the one I played the least. So, yeah, like they recently made some of the parts unisex, like that, like this strand of beads belongs to Psylocke, and I mean, it's fortunate that it happens to be on the same wrist that Dora wears hers. And then of course you got the backpack, you've got Nap. And that's basically it. It's literally just Talon just as Dora. What else to say? Yeah, I played Siegfried in Nightmare equally in 3, 4, and 5, but yeah, I kind of just dropped Nightmare for 6. Now, this is another one that's based on an idea I saw on Reddit. Amy dressed as Madeline. Although, as it turns out, while Amy is French, Madeline is English. It's just that in the original stories, she went to a French boarding school, or in the animated series, a French orphanage. But yeah, Madeline Fogg, so she's technically English from my understanding. And the one I saw on Reddit went with the yellow dress or yellow coat look, but I decided to go with the blue one, and I overlapped a bunch of square and pocket stickers to try to give it kind of an overcoat feel. So yeah, I had to use a lot of square stickers to try to muffle out this foggy white outline that's on the pockets. And I also had to apply some white stickers on top, because otherwise you get this little ring of blue right there within the collar. And of course the bow tie kind of clips, but you make do. But otherwise, yeah, it's just Amy dressed as Madeline. Now this is a somewhat recent, well, okay, it's not that recent. I think the last time I edited this was last year, but since Tira fights with a giant ring, I thought I'll dress her up as a circus ringmaster. Now I do miss the old plain hula hoop she had, and I think 5? Might have been 4. I know one of them was a hula hoop and one of them was something else. She had some other weird joke weapon. But yeah, this is the closest we've got. And so she's wearing Hilda's SoulCalibur IV outfit, sans the armor, and she got the top hat, makeup with a black star sticker, some fancy designs. So it's overall a very simple outfit, but I think it works for her. And then we got Siegfried dressed in this SoulCalibur V outfit because it's a free download. That's basically it. It's Siegfried in his old armor, or new armor, because SoulCalibur V took place in what would then be the future, because they had a time skip. And then we got Juan in the, I believe, the Enlightened One outfit. Very mystical. Again, very just lazy. It's just lazy design. Because I thought, if I ever want to learn him, but right now I'm just too lazy to come up with something better. This is actually very popular with Yoshimitsu players. And here we've got another King of Fighters outfit. Savantes dressed as Rugal Bernstein. Or Rugal Bernstein? I need to brush up on my German. So you got the classic red suit look. And if you destroy the top, you got my attempt at the green mesh tank top. And again, like with Quintessa, he's got these malfested markings, but unlike Quintessa, you can't really hide them on him. They're stuck. And as you can tell, I plastered a bunch of stickers on his body to try to change his skin tone. It does kind of make him look like he's made of plastic, though. But and again, I went with this particular sword colored purple flames to represent the Orochi, like Yori's flame or Chris's. Thanks. Yeah, in fact, I think SoulCalibur 1 is like the only game to call Siegfried with a Z at the front and a T at the back. Ooh, wait, crap. I forgot to mention, I also gave him that cybernetic eye. Now here's another simple outfit. Seong Mi-na as a maid. That's it. Because back in SoulCalibur III, her joke weapon was a feather broom. But she had another weapon that has Frelger, and I have no idea how to pronounce that. I think it's Norwegian or something, Swedish, I don't know. That had a feather design for the blade, and she still has it in 6, so I thought, alright, I'll just redesign it to look like the feather broom. And I'll just have her be a maid. Because why not? And just like with Denise, you got the whole stockings, the lace stocking design. Well, I don't know about the F sounding any different. Like, I know that in German, the V has an F sound, whereas W has a V sound. I just know that, in his case, the S should sound like a Z, and because the D is at the end of a word, it has a T sound, so yeah, it's like Siegfried. And if you got like an IE letter combination, it sounds like E. If it's EI, it's I. And now we got another King of Fighters inspired outfit, which I thought turned out really well for her. Seong Mi-na dresses Mei Li, who's been in like what, 2 games, and yet she's still a very popular character. And so since they're both Korean women who fight for great justice, it just seemed like so fitting. And so I used like 3 sets of earrings to recreate their sunglasses, because there's nothing to otherwise match that. And I was able to recreate the frog logo with 2 hearts, a circle. Alright, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, 2 hearts, a circle, and I was gonna say half circle, but no, it's a moon sticker, but I was able to angle it to look like a half circle. Now, in order to get the stripes on the outside, I had to leave the stripes on the inside. But other than that, you got the gloves, you got the shoes, you got the scarf. Well, actually, I don't know if Mei Li wears a scarf or a cape, but I went with the scarf. And then another lazy outfit. Seong Mi-na in her SoulCalibur IV costume, the Player 1 version. Because it's a free download, so might as well use it. Now we'll move on to some Taki costumes. I don't play as her too often, but I got a few videos up online. And so because one of Taki's moves is literally the spinning bird kick, I have her dressed up as Chun-Li, minus the poofy sleeves. Although I have seen one person recreate her Street Fighter Alpha costume. But yeah, I haven't went to Street Fighter 2. Again, you got the crescent moon stickers. Try to recreate the hair buns, more or less. So it's kind of a simple design. The boots are huge. And you got Talum's wristbands for the spike bands. Well, again, it's closer to the Alpha look, but and now we've got her Noob Saibot costume, because back in SoulCalibur 3, I recreated Noob Saibot and gave him Taki style. I got one of my earliest videos is Noob Saibot fighting Taki. So I thought, you know what, how about I dress up Taki as Noob? Now, the videos I have for her in this costume on the channel, it's an old costume. It's actually a custom-made costume, using like the turtle shell for a hood. But, you know, this time I thought, I'm just gonna go with her default look, but just like all black. So this is actually a lazier costume than what I had before. Although I did apply an extra piece of extra equipment over her mouth, so you actually really can't see that. But I shoved a pair of apples into her face and applied a gradient pattern to try and give her like these bluish white eyes. As you can tell, her eyelids will blink over them. In fact, her eyelids will blink over them at the end of her critical edge if it knocks out the opponent. So it's a really nice look. And yeah, I put stickers all over her body to give her, you know, grayish black skin. You know, it looks really good in that blue forest stage with the moon in the background. Nice and spooky. Especially with the blue and purple flames of her attacks. And now we've got we got a Tekken outfit, Kunimitsu. Now, to be honest, I never really played as Kunimitsu because, well, I never really played a whole lot of Tekken, and the Tekken I did play, she wasn't in them. But it just seemed appropriate to me, especially with the fox mask. So I gave Taki a Kunimitsu outfit in SoulCalibur IV, which I think was based on her, I want to say her Tekken 1 look. And in 5, I gave Natsu a Kunimitsu outfit, which I think I based on, not Tekken, maybe Tekken 2? Maybe Tekken Tag Tournament? And I presume this is based on Tekken Tag Tournament 2, because I don't have the game. I barely played it, so I'm just basing this on artwork I found online. And I think it may even be an incomplete look. But again, you're using Taki's tights as a default base. So you get the little thigh band and the flame stickers. Oh, and if the mask is knocked off, well, if you lose the high equipment, you also lose the pigtails. But I also made sure to try and include a little beauty mark on her lip and the scars on her eye. So this is definitely Kunimitsu 1 and not Kunimitsu 2. And yeah, I went with some demonic horns and some butterfly antenna for the pigtails. And hopefully they don't clip too much, but they usually kind of do. Yeah, that's the problem with extra equipment, is that they clip, which it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. I definitely gotta use this style more often. And of course I tried to create a cleavage window with stickers, which doesn't always work well. Ooh, I guess, yeah. Yeah, because if she suffers battle damage, then her cleavage window gets torn up and it just doesn't look right, but, you know. Oh, actually, I had thought about maybe dressing up as a Yor from Spy Family, so we'll see. Now we got into some more Talon costumes, because I don't know what it says about me, but Amy and Talon are fun to dress up. So, a while back I was watching Maximilian Dood play the Avengers game, which stars Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, and I thought she seems like a chill character, so I'll make a Miss Marvel costume for Talon. And I thought this turned out well enough. I showed this off in my sticker stream a couple weeks ago. Because of course you got the little star design at the very end of her scarf. So again, a pain in the butt to design, but I thought it was worth it. And I want the scaled armor look because it's the closest equivalent. Or no, this is the scaled armor. This is the chainmail armor. Yeah, and I just applied a scaled pattern to it to try to muffle up the scales. I want to go with the under armor that the Shredder wore in the first Ninja Turtles movie, the original. And they got some overlapping 7s for the front, the lightning bolt. And so other than that, yeah, just rather simple, with some pure rings for the bracelet. And I overuse those tonfas. Expect to see them a lot. Now I noticed that in this game, Talon's got a leaping uppercut move. And she can also project forth a huge blast of wind, which resembles the Shinko Hadouken. So as you can see, I dressed her up as Sakura Kasagano from Street Fighter. So you got your Shoryuken, and your, well, Shinku Hadouken. And I think even Talon has this kind of, I think even Sakura has this particular kick. And I'm pretty sure in one of Sakura's intros, she's literally sliding. Well, let me fix this. So I think in this game, Talon has to have low health in order to slide. There we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's one of Sakura's intros, which just runs under the screen and slides forward. I could have sworn I've seen that. Oop. And again, like with the Chun-Li outfit, I'm missing the poofy sleeves. But otherwise, it's the Sailor Fuko, the Sailor School uniform. She's got the headband. I originally gave her a bit more hair in the past, but I decided a shorter look looked nice. Shorter style. And she got Cassandra's shoes and Seong Mi-na's gloves. And I put some stickers on her chest to give her the that high-necked crop top undershirt. I don't know. Which again, with the outline portion of the pocket sticker, I thought it kind of looked well. Look, yeah, you can kind of see that foggy outline I mentioned earlier of the Madeline costume. I don't know why that exists. You're just kind of stuck with it. Now, Talon is from the Philippines, and after I dressed her up as Miss Marvel, I decided I would dress her up as a native superhero named Darna. Although, some people thought this was Wonder Woman, some people thought this was Elektra. But no, comic books, superhero comics exist outside the US. And Darna is pure Philippines. Author, artist, the publication. Originally came out back in the 1950s. She's got a long, long history over there. she's pretty much like their she is kind of like their Wonder Woman or their Superman. She's their own homegrown hero. And so of course I kind of went the bikini version of the outfit because it's the most iconic and is the easiest one to make. And once again, you got Seong Mi-na's loincloth, but it's supposed to be pure white, but you cannot get rid of these flower patterns, so I guess that makes it look fancy. And I want the bolt for the center of this wing design because I was able to apply a pattern to it that made the half circular top portion of the bolt a shade of red, but pretty much kept the rest of it gold, so it helped keep it stand out. It's meant to be a ruby, so I thought that turned out really well. It's kind of funny how technically this outfit's skimpier than the Starfire costume, and yet the Starfire costume feels more provocative because of the underboob and the tight shorts. I don't know. Now we move on to some, first two lazy Ivy outfits. So, because her father's Cervantes and he's a pirate, I gave her the Lady Pirate's outfit. I might try and edit this at some point. Probably won't. It's basically just sexy pirate girl. And then a while back, I fought another Ivy player who had Ivy wearing this particular set of lingerie with the angel wings. So I thought, alright, you know what? I'll make a devil version of Ivy. Go with tiny bat wings and a tiny little tail. Actually, that's a type of antenna. Yeah, it's Captain Ivy. Yeah, so I kind of went with an antenna and I just tried to overlap it a bit because there was a devil tail option in 5, but not in 6. But other than that, it's just Devil, Ivy, and lingerie. You know. And a part of the reason for the lazy costumes is this one. My Poison Ivy. One of the ones I'm the most proud of. See, my problem is, I don't know how to top this. Because, well, with the name and the rose weapon, it just seemed like an obvious choice. And we combine that with the ability to give her green skin, is like, yes, 99 times out of 100, if I'm going to play Ivy herself, it's going to be this outfit. I don't know what else to give her that would look good. I do have one in mind. I do have one in mind, but it'd probably get me in trouble. And now we move on to some Tira costumes. Now, I've never played League of Legends, but I've seen plenty of fan art of Jinx. And so, based on how she's been depicted, yeah, it kind of seemed like an obvious choice to give her a Jinx costume. Now, originally I went with the regular pigtails, but that style didn't really match. So I thought, okay, let me go with a Seong Mi-na's ponytail, especially with regards to the bangs. I've done some touch-ups recently, so I used stickers on one thigh high to try to make it match her skin tone. And I used some, I want to say clouds, not really clouds, I think it was like a flame sticker to try to create her tattoos, which it kind of cuts off dramatically here and there, but, you know. And I try to stylize the gun to match this particular ring blade. Well, mainly with the handle. But yeah, since they're both the cute but crazy type, I just thought, yeah, let's go with Jinx. And speaking of cute but crazy, we got another vampire schoolgirl, Jeanette Borman from Vampire the Masquerade. Now, back in SoulCalibur 4 and 5, I had Tira dressed as Harley Quinn, as a lot of people have. And when 6 came out, my first thought was, oh, let me just go with the Suicide Squad version. But I was too lazy to look up a reference, so I thought, okay, I'll make her a schoolgirl for now. And then I really went at it. I thought, you know, I'll stick with it. I especially really like the rainbow pattern for this Green Blade. And then people kept making comparisons to, was it Juliet's song from Lollipop Chainsaw, and to Jeanette Vorman. Now, I never played Vampire the Masquerade, but again, I looked her up. She got the whole split personality feel to her. So I thought, okay, I can understand why. So I decided, alright, I'll make it official. I'll give her demonic horns for the vampire fangs. I'll restyle the outfit. I combined a box accessory with the book accessory. So this is why you have the newspaper prints on the book. Something that you normally wouldn't see. Transcending history in the world, a tale of souls and swords eternally retold. Originally, I had used 3 box accessories before 2B came out, but yeah, I decided, you know, this does look a little bit better now. Yes, yeah. And you got the strawberry print panties, just because. And then we got Terra's outfit from SoulCalibur V, the Player 2 outfit, I believe. Again, it's a free download, so I figured why not. I actually don't remember what color hair she had or what style she had, and my 360 doesn't work, so I'm too lazy to look it up online. But, And now we move on to 2B, and we're kind of going in order of DLC at the moment. So, again, I've never played Guilty Gear, although I did have the chance to buy it, but I decided I was going to wait, and then when I came back to GameStop, it wasn't there anymore. But I've seen enough footage of Ramlethal Valentine that I thought, you know what, she'd make a good costume for 2B, especially since she's got the darker skinned option and the bleach blonde hair. And she got the little whatever these are, or at least one of them anyway, to hold her sword. And you know what? Trying to apply stickers to the inside of this coat to make it all red, that was a pain in the butt, because this coat clips like crazy. Like, it actually clips in on itself, honestly. Yeah, you kind of just... Yeah, you actually see a sleeve bleeding through already. But other than that, it's kind of a combination of her Exard and... Oh, the new one? Strive. Yeah, Exard and Strive. Weird names. So you got the a much tinier top than she currently has. And, you know, one with Asuka's shorts to make sure she still has her booty. And instead of having, like, bandages on one side, I kind of had to have them on both sides equally, but, yeah. And you get the little clover on the hat. And I couldn't do a cross, so I went with whatever shield symbol that is on the shield. So I don't know. But I thought it looked well enough. And speaking of artwork, I was browsing Imager one day and I happened to see some fan art of the Wendy's mascot, wearing a dress that was very similar to 2B's, in that you had a version with a skirt, you had a version without a skirt. And so I thought, I'll dress her up as Wendy, because why not? And of course it's basically just a recolored version of her default costume. You get the little medallion on the bottom, you got the maid's hat for the lace on the collar. And yeah, you can't change the color of these thigh highs, so you got the black for the default 2B and white for the alternate. Can't do anything about that. Got the bloodstained axe. So yeah, it's 2B dressed as Wendy. Oh. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and I applied stickers onto her boots to try and make a separate kind of shoe design. So I thought that actually worked out well enough. You tried to recreate the straps and something like that. Oh yeah, and I also put stickers on the gloves to separate that from the rest of the sleeves too. And then once again, you got 2B in lingerie, and the one that comes from the original Nier game. I don't remember the character's name because I actually haven't played either of the games yet, but yeah, it's basically Ganguro lingerie 2B. Is Ganguro still a thing? Because I know that was like a look 20 years ago, the whole bleach blonde, dark skinned look. I know it was popular in anime with like Mihoshi from Tenchi Muyo, but and now we move on to some more Amy costumes. Kane. Thank you, Sparta. So yeah, Amy can throw out roses, and so I dressed her up as Amy Rose. Because why not? Got the the Sonic Adventure look, which just kind of remains more or less standard. Like Dr. Robotnik has had the Adventure look longer than he's had his default or his original look. And I really like this particular sword because the style made me think of the Sonic Spin Dash. So you got the Sonic Blue with some Tails Orange. And of course I went with 2B's hairstyle because, you know, it kind of matched the overall shape of the spines, and you got the headband. And it's just trying to style the boots. So yeah, and I went with the clown makeup in order to paint her nose. Yeah, fair enough. And of course, you go back in SoulCalibur IV, I had Amy dressed as Sailor Mini-Moon, so I thought I'd bring that back with using Emil's mask to create a very creepy Luna P, which I think Luna P turned into the magic wand. So this is actually contradictory, but screw it, I can make it, so I will. So yeah, it is, because again, as soon as I saw Amy's pigtails and her magic wand, it just seemed like an obvious choice for a costume. And I think this is based on the Super Sailor Mini-Moon version. It's been a while since I watched the series. Looks really cute when you have the heart attack effect popping up on screen. Very stylized, of course, because I couldn't quite do a full sailor school or sailor uniform. And then, of course, we got Amy in her SoulCalibur IV outfit. Now, interesting fact. When Amy was first made available for download, her pigtails were intended to come undone if she got hit with a high attack, which was true if you played the default version. But if you made a custom, if you made a custom outfit for Amy, her pigtails would not come undone. They were in fact indestructible. And they eventually fixed this in the patch by hiding these original pigtails from the selection screen and putting new pigtails in their place, so you have to select them all over again. But this version of Amy still has these original unbreakable pigtails. Which presumably means if I ever lose this save data and have to start all over again, I can never recreate this as is. But other than that, you got the, well, I'm not really going to have her outfit come undone, but yes. You got the old SoulCalibur IV costume, which I honestly still like better than her current version. And now we move on to Cassandra. And again, another SNK design. You got the old character Princess Athena, the namesake of Athena Asamiya. And I was never really an Athena fan at the beginning because I thought her voice was annoying, and I thought Cassandra's voice was annoying. But now I've come to like both characters, so it's like doubly appropriate. And yeah, this just seemed like a fun little costume to make. Yeah, again, it's a very simple design, but it just comes together. Although I am kind of surprised that neither her nor Sophia has like any kind of like a face shield, like a shield that has like a lion face or like a Medusa face. No, they don't have that. So I want the circular version, which actually looks really good when it's shining as gold. Yes, I remember that because I've not had a chance to play SNK vs. Capcom Chaos. I've got the other versions. I got Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2. But I do remember seeing footage of Princess Athena. Now, of course, because of the Baker's Data, of course, a lot of people like to dress up Cassandra as Little Red Riding Hood. The thing is, this is not BB Hood from Darkstalkers. This is Red Riding Hood from the Nintendo DS game, Little Red Riding Hood Zombie Barbecue. So if you take off the hood, which has a nice wolf logo on the back, you've got her pigtails, the big ones. Yeah, she's all grown up in that game. And the only thing we're really missing is the cleavage window. Oop, no. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the buttons on her breasts are meant to represent, but yeah, it's Zombie Barbecue Red Riding Hood. That's also why she's armed with a big gun. Although, I actually don't remember why I went with this pattern. I don't remember at all. I guess I just thought it looked good at the time. But yeah, if you got a DS or a 3DS, and you can track it down, it's a nice rail shooter, I think it's called, because you largely just go side to side as zombies and other monsters just come at you and you just shoot them and blow them up. You got a flamethrower. And you can also play as the Peach Child Momotaro. But no, most people just play as Red Riding Hood. And then, of course, you got Cassandra in her SoulCalibur IV outfit. I've actually still got artwork of this saved, so I think I may have to double check the pattern on the bow. But other than that, yeah, it's just SC4 Cassandra with the mask. Now, I don't play as Hilda, but I always, like with Juan, I thought if I ever wanted to learn her, I want to make some costumes, so... And again, with Juan, I just went with the Enlightened One costume, I just thought it looked stylish. Although there's something about that profile picture, like, it almost looks like her eyes and her eyelashes are glowing almost. I guess just because of the ambient light coming from the armor? Or maybe because of the hairstyle? It just feels much redder than usual. And because Hilda normally wears a full suit of armor, I decided to dress her up like this. Now, the fun thing is, again, kind of like with Amy, when Hilda first came out, she had a glitch in her hair where her default hairstyle was not compatible with certain helmets. What is the Enlightened One? I don't know. That's just the name of that's just the name of the set. Like, this is called the Seraph's armor set, I guess you could say. So yeah, as I was trying to say, yeah, her helmet or her default hairstyle was not compatible. So like, say if you gave her this helmet, she'd go bald. Now, of course, clearly they fixed it up with a patch, but for a little while I went with the messy version of the hair. Now, all things considered, yeah, this is a very ridiculous costume for Hilda, but I really like how these flaming wings turned out using all sorts of gradient patterns. Oop. No, I think it's just a name. Yeah, so I just used 4 sets of gradient patterns and just went with orange to yellow. I think actually I think it's technically whitish at the tips, but yeah. So even if someday I decide to get rid of this armor, I'm keeping the wings. And then of course again we got Hilda in her SoulCalibur IV outfit with the visor up. And it's set to break, so just like with 4. Which I think probably is why her costume exists in the first place, was to make use of the destruction mechanic. And now we move on to Setsuka. Now, because Setsuka wants revenge against the death of her master, her father figure, and because Asuka originally wanted vengeance due to the injuries her father suffered against Fang, I decided, I'll just dress up as Asuka. Yeah, it just made sense to me at the time. And I tried to stylize the umbrella to resemble the little symbol on her jacket. It seemed like the closest match. And then here we've got Setsuka wearing the Tiger Lily set. So basically, sexy samurai girl. Got a nice stylish umbrella. And there's really not much more to say about it. And the final entry, Setsuka's SoulCalibur IV outfit. I tried to align her tattoo sticker as closely as I could based on the artwork. And I think I actually tried to base the coloring here on SoulCalibur III instead of 4. I'll have to double check the artwork, but yeah, because I know this is not the default color, so I tried to go with what I remember from 3. Although I'm basing this on some older artwork of mine of Quintessa using Setsuka's weapon style and dress as a geisha. So I could just have this completely wrong. Who knows? And well, that's about it. Yeah, the controller's all screwy. Although I guess I could spend a little bit of time on favorites or the downloadable. I don't know why they call this unique and this customized. It's weird titles, but I downloaded Quintessa. I downloaded my own character, and then we've got Tifa, Ronald McDonald, Lady Maria from Bloodborne, I believe, Juri Han from Street Fighter. Although I'm going to fix the name to get rid of that underscore and to get rid of that hyphen. You can tell. Yeah, look, last updated, 2018. I've had these for a while. You got Kratos, Thanos, Link. Somebody recreated Vecna from I presume to be from Dungeons and Dragons, especially since he's got a nice eye motif going. So I was surprised to see Vecna. Of course, this is a pre-destruction, I guess pre-demigod Vecna when he still had both hands and both eyes. And likewise, you got Sammy from Advance Wars on Game Boy Advance. A little surprised to see that. You got a cool cat. Which, yeah, that was kind of a neat design. I presume that this is Amy's outfit from SoulCalibur III, so that seemed neat. Somebody recreated Optimus Prime. We got Jago from Killer Instinct. We got the Joker. We got a character named Leela. I don't know, but it seemed neat at the time. And somebody made Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service. And we got Ash Williams from The Evil Dead. and Army of Darkness. So, alright, going on 2 hours, so there's my custom characters and my custom cosplays for the main cast, because, yeah, if I want to remake somebody's outfit, I usually just make it as a costume instead of as is. And I hope you have a good day, and I suppose I'll try to create my message board thread. I'll add my message board thread to the low bar, to the description, because I've got formulas written down for all my custom designs, because back in SoulCalibur 3 you were limited to like 10. So if I want to replace something, I decided, you know what, let me write this down in case I want to recreate something. And then in SoulCalibur 4, you know, you had more character slots, but I just copied it down anyway, and then my data got corrupted. I had to start all over again. So I was like, okay, at least I don't have to spend too much time recreating them. I just follow the formula. And I kept at it for 5, and I kept at it for 6. So if you ever want to recreate something that I've made, I'll be sure to add it to the low bar. And I'm gonna go put the air conditioner on, so hope everyone has a wonderful day.